I'm living my life and I'm doing the things that I do, and you can live your life and your life doesn't affect me, so why should my life affect you, and to the point where you have to be ignorant towards me? It's insane. Just live your own fucking life and leave people alone. Drag is an art, definitely. I do drag because I've always had a feminine side, and it is a really great way to express my femininity, and I mean, it definitely has helped me a lot. Like, it's definitely something that I want to do. I mean, there's a lot of things I want to do. Drag is just one of the many things that I like to do, and I don't like to choose one thing and do it, because I think that's boring, and there's so much you can do in the world, so why not do as much as you can?
Definitely grown my eyebrows since I started drag. They used to be better.
I do it for the fashion, and I do it for looking good, because, I mean, it's fun. It's always fun to put on makeup and transform yourself, because, like, people don't recognize me, like, and people will meet me, like, another time, and someone will be like, oh, that was Olive, and they're like, oh, really? Wow, because they don't recognize me, and that's insane. It's fun, like, putting on a different character.
Kyle, what was the first time you did drag?
2 summers ago.
Was there a show? I don't remember.
Yeah, I wasn't in the show, I just went to the show and drag. Levels was a thing. Okay, do those look even enough?
Yeah, that looks good.
You sure, Mom?
Just pretty even to me.
So I met Kyle 3 years ago. I was a sophomore and he was a freshman, and we just lived together this past year. I think sometimes I feel like I'm his mother. Like, I was the first one to ever do his makeup, and he used to wear my shoes all the time and, like, wear my outfits. Now I actually have borrowed one of his dresses. Despite being a drag queen, really hates the idea of being flamboyant, and he always just wants to be, like, fashion. He just wants to be art. Kyle's definitely different than the other drag queens. I don't think it's necessarily that he, like, wants to be a girl. It's just he wants to be, like, beautiful, and finds that as a way to do that. He hates lip syncing, which is a really horrible thing for a drag queen because that's all you do. And he doesn't like dancing, which is the other part of it. And I think if there, like, the dress-up aspect wasn't involved in drag, he would never do drag.
It's just like any performance art, really. Like, I don't know. It's fun. It's a good outlet. It's a good way to get away from reality, really, and get away from everything else in life, I would say. I'm not claiming to be trans at all, and I am a man, and I go by boy. No drag queen sets out to offend, like, women or, like, trans people. Like, we're not trans, we're not saying that we are, because that's a completely different definition. People get offended about it from time to time because they think that queer culture revolves around drag. I've heard that, like, drag is, like, the only thing, like, in the LGBTQ community, and that people only look at that. I understand where that idea comes from, but drag queens were there fighting for our rights, like, back in the day. Like, when you look at activists back in the day who fought for gay, lesbian, queer, like, bisexual, and trans rights, like, drag queens were there at the front of the line fighting for our rights. It's definitely not something that I plan on telling my dad anytime soon. I mean, like, I'm open to him about, like, being gay, and my mom and my other, like, my family members, but also I feel like drag is such a different level, and I've only been doing it for, like, a year and a half, and until, like, I get to a point where I can, like, make it a career, or if I do get to a point where I can make it a career, like, I don't really need to tell them. Like, a dude putting on makeup, like, when has that ever been accepted in their, like, generation? So.
Hello? Come in. Hi.
If someone's going to look at me and say something or laugh or just be rude and ignorant in general, like, I feel bad for them because it's their ignorance, really, and I know I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just being myself, and, like, that's all I can do, and yeah.
What
gives me so much anxiety because I just want him to do well, and I want everyone to like respond to him well and for him to get the response that he wants. So it just stressed me out.